Hello, I have Satu from Finland here. Hi, Satu.
Hi, Jitka. It's
How
nice
are
to be
you?
here.
Nice to meet you. Could you tell me about the situation with coronavirus in Finland?
Yes, there are about 5,100 people that are or have been ill from coronavirus in Finland now. And on the 16th of March, the Finnish government declared a state of emergency in our country, and a list of measures intended to slow down the spreading of the virus and to protect at-risk groups were implemented. For example, all schools have been closed since then, not including early education. Distant learning has been practiced for that time using Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, Google Classroom, and other digital platforms. Most government-run public facilities, libraries, theaters, museums, etc., have been shut down. At most, 10 people can participate in a public meeting or event. Unnecessary loitering around public places should be avoided, and people over the age of 70 should avoid human contact if possible. The police monitors and controls compliance with the recommendations and restrictions where necessary. This
And
is primarily.
can I ask you if somebody violates the rules? Is there any fine for that?
Yes, there can be. Well, primarily, this controls being done by providing advice and guidance. But if you don't obey the orders given by the police, you may have to pay 10 to 20 day fines. The amount of the day fine depends on your monthly income. And you could even end up in district court for an assembly violation. So it must be taken seriously, of course. And what else? Outsiders are forbidden from entering healthcare facilities and hospitals, excluding relatives of critically ill people and children, of course. The capacity of social and healthcare has been increased in the private and public sector, while less critical activity has been decreased. The borders of the country are closed. And inside Finland, the borders of the Uusimaa region were closed for some time as it had the most confirmed cases. It was done in hopes of slowing down the epidemic in the rest of the country. Uusimaa has 1.7 million inhabitants. It's nearly 1/3 of Finland's total population and contains also the capital of Helsinki. Travel to and from Uusimaa was prohibited without a valid reason, and several hundred police officers were enforcing the restriction and with the assistance of the Finnish Defence Forces. And of course, all authorities recommend people to stay at home, what we've been doing. Coronavirus has increased sales and stockpiling of daily goods, such as groceries and hygiene products. Fears of quarantine and potential shortages first led to some panic buying, particularly of canned goods, hand sanitizer, and toilet paper. For some reason,
Were there any fights?
I've not heard about fights, but I've seen empty shelves
Okay.
in grocery stores. The practice of self-isolation has also increased demand for online grocers. Shops have been allowed to stay open all this time, all kinds of shops, but restaurants and bars are closed. And some of the restaurants have started to sell food out. Orders can be made via internet or by phone, and you can pick the portions of food at the restaurant, or they can be delivered to your home. And what else? Masks are not compulsory for the public as somewhere else. Actually, there are also arguments saying that the masks even might not be good for you or your health. If you aren't ill, of course, you wear a mask if you are ill and you must go out. And naturally, medical staff and, for example, staff that works with elderly people must use masks at work.
And for what reason the masks aren't good for you unless you are ill?
Well, they say that if you keep correcting the mask on your face, your hands can touch your face more than they would do without the use of the mask.
I see. Okay.
And it might cause the infection as well,
Mhm.
to transmit from your hands. As there have been a moderate amount of new infections in Finland now, some measures of reopening the society have been done. For example, the government has now decided to reopen schools on the 14th of May. It's
Mhm.
believed that children don't spread the disease that much. Well, we'll see how it goes after the schools will be opened. Still, there will, of course, be special regulations at schools for the 2 weeks they will be open before summer holidays start. Next week, we'll get the instructions and regulations for working at schools. I personally have stayed mostly at home, only taking my dog out, going to the grocery store, of course, and spend some time at the summer cottage on the weekends. I have been using from home, using Google Meet and Google Classroom mainly. My dearest hobby is dancing, and that hasn't been possible for weeks now, and I must say I miss that a lot. My elderly mom is living at a nursing home, and I haven't been allowed to go there and visit her for many weeks, for all these weeks now. I have only seen her and talked to her through the window of her room. And she has said that this feels worse than the time of war at the end of 1930s. She's also lived through. And that's quite sad to see her like that. At work, my school has an Erasmus Plus project called Act Green going on. And we were supposed to go to Greece and Romania this spring to visit our partners, but those events were, of course, cancelled as well. Our pupils and we teachers had been looking forward to those visits so much, and we were, of course, very, very disappointed. Media here in Finland, as all everywhere else, I guess, is all about corona, nothing else. Radio, TV, internet, all the news only about the virus. Let's hope this will end soon and we can return back to our daily lives and routines. I guess we all can now appreciate and value the normal life more than before after this is over. Those ordinary things such as eating at the restaurant, shaking hands with people, hugging our friends, and etc. So
I'm
that's
wondering, is it possible to travel around Sweden if you need to? I mean, are you allowed? Or, I mean, if you are in that closed region, you probably can't. But if you're not in the closed region, can you go? Like, let's say from the south to the north?
yeah. If there is a country that hasn't closed its borders, it is possible if you have a good reason. So you can do that, but it's not so common nowadays.
Yeah, I
So
can imagine. And the country that is closed, you can't enter or you can't leave, right?
yes, without a very, very good reason to go. And if you come from abroad, then you must stay in quarantine for 2 weeks after
Mhm.
that.
And is there any service for the people over 70, as they're not recommended to
Yeah.
go among people? So, for example, what if they don't have any family to bring them food? For example,
Yes.
are there any services for them?
Yes, there is. Actually, my dad, who is 80 years, gets his food delivered to his doorstep from the
That's
city
very.
council. Yeah, it costs him, but the service is available.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And since you said that the school are going to reopen soon and that the situation is not getting worse, is there any chance that the closed region would open again?
Uh, well, I
Are
guess
there any discussions about it? I mean,
yeah, yeah. I guess Finnish government is are actually today discussing all the possibilities of reopening the uh, the whole of Finland step by step, gradually. So we are hoping to get back to almost a normal life soon, in the near future, at least. But they have warned us that there might be a new peak for this epidemic in the autumn. That's possible. It's possible to slow down for the summer and then start again in the autumn. So no one knows how it will go, but we wish for the best.
yeah, let's hope for the best. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to come for this interview. And
Thank
thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.